Okay, welcome back. So, the next story we're going to talk about, and I love the headline, exceptional headline, certainly better than all that dogs waggage stuff you did with Virgin Australia. Is the headline reads,
Everyone's a critic, Adam.
Yeah, well, anyway, it reads, "It's not about the money," says ATC union as strike vote continues. Jake, tell us a bit more.
Yeah, we talked about the potential civil air strikes on last week's podcast. The air traffic controllers, they have now filed for a ballot for protected industrial action, which closes on the 1st of May. If the ballot is successful, there could be work stoppages, there could be bans on overtime and air traffic controller training. Now, there's been a bit of a row that's erupted between air services and civil air over this protected action ballot. Very similarly to what Air Services has been saying about the airport firefighters, Air Services has been sort of implying or seeming to imply that the air traffic controllers who are citing, who are saying the air traffic controllers are saying there's understaffing, there's a horrible toxic work environment, safety is at risk, etc. Air Services have been seeming to imply that these justifications are effectively a fig leaf for the air traffic controllers union, similarly to the firefighters union. Air Services have been effectively implying, or again seeming to imply, I'm getting to it, that they just want a 20% pay rise.
Now, I would say that we do try to give with both sides of every story. And as we've mentioned on previous shows, the context here is that there is not a consensus. There is an argument in general in aviation that people will always play the safety card because that's the thing that will get picked up by mainstream journalists and is used as a safety tool. Obviously, in this particular instance, the Air Traffic Control Union is arguing that this is a genuine safety concern because their members are very tired. If you're very tired or very fatigued, then accidents can happen. That endangers life. And then there's two sides to every story. But what I would say is that on the one hand, you've got Civil Air saying this is not about the money, but then they are asking for more money. Because the argument would be if it had nothing to do with the money, you go, you know what, we don't want any pay increase whatsoever. We actually just want more staff. But they're not doing that.
Well, so in a statement, Civil Air has said, quote, that we must emphasise that any suggestion that this action is solely in pursuit of a higher pay rise is factually incorrect. Now, they've also said... most of our claims relate to non-remuneration matters, yet Air Services has refused to accept them. They said suggestions that our claims represent $140 million of additional cost to Air Services are misleading. And they have said Civil Air, in good faith and in order to progress negotiations, has already withdrawn claims that Air Services identified as having an unacceptably high cost or operational impost. Our claims make early steps towards addressing the dire workplace environment that our members experience daily. So this is not just about this understaffing that Civil Air is alleging. They're also saying that there is this toxic workplace culture that is wearing their members down. Apparently, according to Civil Air, these multiple reports and employee surveys have found staff feel unhappy, disrespected, undervalued, often a subject to bullying and harassment. The union said the most recent report from September 2023 outlined that 52% of staff had experienced bullying, 19% had experienced sexual harassment, 39% of individuals would recommend Air Services as a place to work, and only 29% of all employees, 19% of air traffic controllers agreed that Air Services valued their work role. Air Services has stood by its earlier statement. It said that it has offered a $78 million pay rise, comprising 11.2% over 3 years, in line with the Australian Public Service Commission's recent pay decision, as well as the retention of all current conditions. It said Air Services is looking to finalise this new enterprise agreement without interruption to the travelling public, while delivering a fair outcome for ATCs so that we can continue working together to safely manage access to our skies and connect Australia to the world.